Don't contact me tomorrow because I'll be busy, said my husband curtly.
I simply replied, I understand. But later I discovered something important that my husband had forgotten. I was torn between whether to tell him or keep silent.
My name is Noelle.
I've been married to my husband for 5 years, and our married life hasn't been blessed with children. I don't think our relationship as a couple is bad, but recently I've been feeling suspicious about my husband's behavior. It was at such a time that my husband mentioned a long-distance business trip.
He said, I'll be on a business trip for 3 nights and 4 days starting tomorrow.
I responded, oh, another business trip? And this time it's quite long, isn't it?
He replied, yeah, that's right. Uh-huh.
While opening a drawer and pulling out clothes, I asked, what are you doing?
He replied, preparing for the business trip.
Oh, I see. I couldn't help but gaze at my husband.
The reason is because my husband had never prepared for a business trip on his own before.
He always just gave me orders like, get it ready. So I wondered what had suddenly changed.
Are you running a fever?
What?
But still, he looked very happy.
Since he was doing it himself, there was no need to complain. But still, he looked so happy. He was humming a tune while selecting the freshest underwear, even though there was no one to show it to.
Do you need my help?
I said just to test him, considering his enthusiasm and clumsiness.
He replied, no, don't bother.
I see. Well, where are you going on this business trip?
Doesn't matter where.
Why are you so angry? You're in a good mood? Why are you shouting?
Because you're being annoying.
Phil,
I thought something was off.
what kind of meaning is it if it's that long? It must be a pretty difficult matter, right?
I asked, although I knew I wouldn't understand by asking. I just wanted to see his reaction.
He shouted, you wouldn't understand even if I told you.
This is strange. I have a strong suspicion that something is definitely wrong. Recently, there have been many strange things about my husband. Even though I'm not very perceptive, everything just makes me doubt. For example, he used to say that it's bothersome to lock his smartphone, but now he locks it. He used to leave his smartphone lying around, but now he carries it with him. He has been working holidays and doing excessive overtime, and the list goes on. Especially our recent wedding anniversary was the worst. Since we got married, we've always celebrated our anniversary together. But this year, he even forgot about it. When I pointed it out, he said, how ridiculous. We're too old for anniversaries. It was so hurtful and I couldn't help but be shocked. However, rather than losing my temper and yelling, I decided to wait for the right opportunity. And now, this 3-night, 4-day business trip, it's natural to have thoughts of whether he's cheating. While I had doubts, I didn't want to start a fight by bringing it up, so I smiled and saw my husband off.
Take care.
Yeah, don't contact me because I will be busy.
Okay, I understand. But what about emergencies?
Unless it's something extremely urgent, don't contact me.
What do you mean by extremely urgent?
Something that involves a life or death situation.
Honestly, situations involving life or death don't happen so easily.
Okay, I understand.
With a small sigh, I watched my husband leave and enter the house. Then, when I saw my husband's desk, there is a large envelope with confidential written on it. It definitely looked like today's meeting materials.
What should I do?
Probably without this envelope, there wouldn't be a meeting.
Should I contact him?
But I would be upset if I contact him and got scolded. He said not to contact me unless it's a matter of life or death. However, if I ask why I didn't contact him, I held the envelope in my hand and pondered for a while, but I decided to put it back on the desk.
He told me not to contact me, so whatever. Besides, I don't even know where to bring it or where he went, so there's no help for it, right?
4 days passed without any incident and my husband came back.
Hey, why didn't you contact me? Instead of saying I'm home or handing me souvenirs, my husband yelled at me, demanding why I didn't contact him.
I calmly replied, you told me not to contact you unless it's a matter of life or death, right?
It depends on the situation. You must have known that there were meeting materials on my desk.
Yes, I found them right after you left.
Then why didn't you contact me?
I didn't contact you because you told me not to. It's not my fault. It's because of you that the meeting didn't happen. It was an important negotiation with the other party.
What on earth are you doing? They even sarcastically said that it was meaningless for them to come all the way there. They also said, if that's the case, they didn't need to come at all. This business trip turned out to be pointless.
Oh, if that's the case, it means the meeting ended early, right? But then why did it take 3 days? Plaza,
Well, that is,
if there was no meeting, you shouldn't have been away for 3 days, right? And originally maybe it was supposed to be a day trip, right?
don't act like you know everything.
Then the meetings with the other companies went well, I assume. And yet, why are you so irritated? Fuzza,
That's because there were more things.
oh, whatever it is, if it was such an important document, why did you forget it? Normally, you wouldn't have done something like that. Was your mind preoccupied with something enjoyable? Perhaps with someone you were looking forward to meeting? Daza,
What are you talking about?
well, the fact that you were so happy about the trip preparations that you forgot about the important document. You were humming along, right? Daza,
Humans forget things sometimes. And in such situations, it's the wife's duty to be considerate. That's the supporting wife's power.
if you were a husband who would activate my supporting wife's power, I would have surely contacted you, right? But you refused my calls, saying you were busy. I don't think I would help you if you act like that.
Even so, the wife should still contact me.
Oh, so you told me not to contact you, but why did you have to be contacted? And even if I asked where to bring it, you just yelled at me, and I didn't know where to bring it. You didn't even tell me where you are staying, nor did you inform me about which train you take or what time you will be returning. I didn't know anything at all, huh? And yet you are telling me to contact you?
If you found out as soon as I left and contacted me, I could have come back to get it.
You know, I also have work. I have to go to work as soon as you leave. You forgot because you were so excited, and I don't think I need to do that much for someone like that.
Why are you saying I was excited? Don't say strange things.
Someone who has never prepared for a business trip by yourself before. Humming along, packing new underwear in your bag, preparing your favorite change of clothes. And you say you weren't excited, haha.
That's a misunderstanding. It's your own imagination. There's no way such a thing would happen when I'm going to work. And as for the underwear, well, I just thought that since I might collapse when I'm on my trip. I was thoughtful. If I wore shopping underwear and then got carried to the hospital, you'll be the one laughed at. I did it for your sake.
Sure. I see. Can you still say such things even you see this?
I placed a file labeled Investigation Report in front of my husband. The file is the result of the investigation. I hired a detective about my husband's behavior since I had a suspicion about him along with his business trip. Unaware that he was being followed, my husband had decided to have an affair trip after the meeting, even though it was supposed to be a day trip. Thanks to that, I was able to gather a ton of evidence.
Were you investigating me?
That's right. If you find something suspicious, you have to investigate. If you don't have evidence, you will be at a disadvantage in critical moments. I won't just stay silent if I'm being cheated on. In times like this, I should gather solid evidence. You know, like those videos on YouTube, they're quite enlightening.
Are you planning to divorce me?
My husband's face turned red in an instant, and he started yelling. However, I'm no longer afraid. After all, I have the evidence, and it's my husband who's committing infidelity.
What do you think you achieved by doing this? Cheating is a man's charm. A man who can't even cheat is completely unattractive. Considering that, it's not a big deal, right? Why divorce? Why?
Because it was you who committed infidelity. I can't just silently watch. So it's divorce. I see. I got it. Fine then. After saying that, my husband went to the bedroom and packed some of his belongings into a bag.
I won't agree to a divorce.
Why are you so stubborn? Is it because you're afraid of paying alimony for your affair?
You're a cold-hearted woman.
You cheated and expected to be accepted with kindness. That's not gonna happen, right?
This conversation is pointless.
It's a good thing you didn't unpack your luggage for the business trip.
Why?
It saved you the trouble of packing. Haha. My husband had a frustrated expression and left the house. However, Even though he left, he shouldn't have anywhere to go. My husband's parents live far away, and he doesn't have any friends who could accommodate him. He can't go to her place either. After all, the person he's having an affair with is his boss's wife. As my husband forcefully closed the door and moved away from the house, I sat down on the living room sofa. Now what should I do? While gazing at the investigation report, I was contemplating how to strike him back. But knowing him, he might come back acting all high and mighty. But even if he does come back, it's unforgivable. But what should I do if he doesn't return? I was pondering over such things. The next day came, and when I confirmed that my husband hadn't returned, I went to work. After finishing the day, I returned home, but my husband still hadn't come back. I see he hasn't returned. When I called his company during the day, they said he was at work, so he must still be working. But he doesn't answer my calls and there's no reply online. With determination, I stood up and said, "All right." I started cleaning up the house. After tidying everything up, I left the house and dropped something in the mailbox. A few days later, I received a message from my ex-husband, Diego.
Hey you, did you send the investigation report to my boss?
Boss?
You mean the husband of your affair partner, right? You're such a sarcastic woman.
Well, I think it's better than being unfaithful, right? Thaza,
Do you think it's okay to cause trouble for others?
those words are like a boomerang, ha ha ha.
Us.
Listen, you didn't want your boss to know, but he has the right to know. If you think it would be better for him not to know about his wife's fling, he could have pretended not to see it. But since you're asking, it means he's not the type to pretend he didn't see, right? That means he has the right to know, doesn't it? It's not good to be left betrayed, isn't it? And do you think it's acceptable that only my family is broken, while yours remains unaffected? Tazan?
Don't you think it's terrible?
Oh, that word will be returned to you with interest. Besides, you're the terrible one, haha.
My boss told me, don't think this will end here. Thanks to you, my career path is closed.
If it's just your career, it's fine, haha.
What's that supposed to mean?
You had an affair with a married woman, so you'll be facing a claim for compensation, ha? And I'll be claiming to you too, haha.
Why would you claim to me too?
Well, because you committed adultery, and there's solid evidence of that, haha.
That's a matter for after the divorce.
Divorce is already certain, isn't it? So,
I won't agree to a divorce. That's why I came back to talk again. And then what's this?
what's this?
You don't have anything here. Not to mention there are no appliances either. How am I supposed to live?
Oh, I canceled the lease for that room, so you can't live there. It will be over by the end of this month.
What? Why would you do such a thing?
Well, I tried contacting you, but I couldn't reach you and you didn't come back. I think this is inevitable, haha.
Why couldn't you wait until I came back?
There's no way I could wait, haha. Why should I wait for someone who left? It would be surprising if I did, haha.
It's terrible.
You did agree to the divorce, resorted to using force. You left on your own accord, so you shouldn't have any complaints, right? Also, I left the divorce papers, so please sign and submit them.
I said I won't agree to a divorce. Just because I had a small affair, it shouldn't come to this. It's not a matter of coming or going. Are you that foolish?
But even so, do you really think I can accept this? I didn't do it to make you accept it. I did it because you betrayed me. If you have any complaints, let's discuss it through lawyers.
Lawyers?
Yes, these things tend to become messy. It's easier to go through lawyers, isn't it? There's also the matter of compensation and property division.
Property division? On top of taking compensation. Are you also going to take away my assets?
Well, it's only natural. Even if it's been 5 years, we built our assets together. However, concerning the appliances, since I bought them before we got married, I took them with me. Those don't count, ha ha ha.
What about my personal belongings?
Well, you hardly had any belongings from before we got married, right? And there were things you bought after we got married, right? After all, you're not the type to save money, haha. So there's nothing that belongs to you. What's left is our shared assets. It's better not to dispose of them. If you do, I'll take the amount from our savings.
This is 2.
This is the price of betrayal, haha.
Alright, let's start over.
Duh? That means you don't understand, right? I have no intention of starting over. I have no interest in a man taken by another woman.
Don't say that. It was just a momentary lapse, and I won't cheat again.
Well, it's too late. If you do it once, I'll live with the fear that it might happen again. I don't want that.
No, I won't do it. I absolutely won't. I won't betray you again, so let's not talk about compensation or property division. Let's do our best until the end of our lives.
Do it on your own? I'm fine, thank you.
Later on, my husband continued to reach out to me multiple times, trying to start over. However, having no intention to reconcile, I sought the help of a lawyer. Thanks to that, I was able to get a divorce, and I received compensation. It seems that the affair partner also demanded compensation, and he asked me for a larger share of the assets, but I ignored his pleas as there was no need to listen. Afterward, it appears that my ex-husband had no place at his company. This was because his boss was furious and treated him harshly, and the fact that he had an affair with his boss's wife spread within the company, feeling unbearable. My ex-husband requested a transfer, but because of his actions, it was believed that no matter where he was transferred, he would repeat the same behavior. So he remained in a state of uncertainty. Eventually, mentally worn down, my husband became unable to go to work and voluntarily resigned. Although he returned to his parents' home, his parents grew tired of their unemployed son, and they kicked him out of the house. No one knows what happened to him after being kicked out. As for me, I reside in a world untouched by remarriage. I believe that living my life alone will be happier than getting married again and experiencing another betrayal, and indeed, I've been enjoying truly happy days.